It's already been paid for. I'm telling you, if you make a mistake tomorrow, God's not mad at you. He's grieved. He doesn't want you to go down that road because there's a way that seems right to man, but the end is death. He don't want you to go down that road, but his wrath has been satisfied. That's what the word propitiation means, okay? All right, now, it says that he's able to aid those who are tempted. All right, let's get back to this humanity of Jesus. Look at Hebrews chapter 4. Just flip over one page. Hold your finger still at Mark chapter 6. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15 says, "For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses." That's one of the best statements in the Bible. We don't have a high priest who cannot. In other words, we'd have a high priest who can sympathize with our weaknesses, but was in all points tempted as we are. Notice all. Every place you've been tempted, he was tempted. Yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace. Notice it's not called a throne of judgment. A lot of people talk about the judgment throne. To the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. All right, I asked you a moment ago, any of you ever been tempted? Got 100%. So you don't have to raise your hands, but we'd get 100% on this. Anybody here ever had a need? You ever had a need? Okay. Guess what? You can come to the throne of grace in time of need. That's what this says. But now here's the great thing. I want you to catch this. It is a throne of grace. It is a throne of mercy. It's a throne of sympathy. Someone who can sympathize with you. If you know, let's say you have had cancer or something, you've had to go through chemo and radiation, and you're talking with some people, and in the talking, someone says, "I had that." Immediately, there's a connection. When did you have it? And did you have to do that? Yes, I had to do that too. Did it make you sick? Yes, it made me. See what I'm saying? There's a sympathy. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. When you go to the throne of grace, you say, "Today I was tempted by something. I was tempted." And you know what the Lord says? "I've had that. I was tempted by it. I was tempted too." Are you following me? Yeah. See, the reason that it's a throne of grace, boy, if you don't catch this, I'm going to be upset with you, okay? The reason that it's a throne of grace is because the one sitting on it has been a human being, and he understands. He understands. Now, let me tell you something else. Boy, please catch this. You're not as bad as you think you are. You're not. The devil wants to make you think, "Well, you're bad and you're horrible and nobody else at the church does this. You're the worst one. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even come and sit with these holy people." Listen to me. When you go to the throne, there's not judgment and criticism coming from it. There's sympathy, because the human sitting on the throne, as he's been a human, the one sitting on the throne says, "I know what it's like to live in a fallen world and have demons chasing you every day. And you're doing better than you think you are, buddy." That's good news, isn't it? He's a wonderful high priest. All right, so he became a carpenter. He became a person. So we could identify with him. All right? So let me tell you some things that he understands, okay? Three biggies in our life. Number one, Jesus understands relationships. He understands relationships. Mark 6, verse 3. If you've got a marker and you just flip real quickly. Mark 6, verse 3 says, "Is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary?" By the way, I want to go back to why he's called the son of Mary, not the son of Joseph, because that's very unusual in biblical terms unless something has happened. So I'll give you a little clue there. The son of Mary and brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon, that's 4 brothers, are not his sisters, plural, here with us. Okay, so he had 4 brothers and at least 2 sisters. So he had brothers and sisters. Now you know that they got along perfectly. Because you have children, and you know children get along perfectly. That's just the nature of children, right? No, he understands what it's like to have a brother duct tape you to the bed. I mean, he understands that. Whatever it was back then that they used, he understands. He understands what it's like to have a brother or sister jealous of you or envious of you, upset at you, angry, misunderstand. He understands. He understands what it's like to grow up in a family and do chores. He understands. There's nothing that you could talk to him about that he doesn't understand. He understands what it's like to be single, to live in this world as a single person. Now, some of you might think, well, I got something he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand marriage. Oh, really? Do you want to think about that before you say that? You sure that he doesn't have a wife? Are you sure the Bible doesn't call him a groom and talk about his bride? Okay, let me just say it straight out. He understands what it's like for his spouse to cheat on him. There's nothing that you can talk about with God that he doesn't understand. He understands. He understands what it's like to have problems with your family. Let me show you. You're in Mark 6. Flip back just a couple of pages to Mark chapter 3. There's some verses in Mark 3 that if you don't know the context, then these seem real strange. They seem out of place. Mark chapter 3, verse 31. We're talking about having problems with your family. Mark 3, verse 31. Then his brothers and his mother came to him. Notice again, the father's not there. And standing outside, they sent to him, calling him. And a multitude was sitting around him, and they said to him, "Look, your mother and your brothers are outside seeking you." But he answered them, saying, now this is very strange, "Who is my mother or my brothers?" And he looked around in a circle at those who sat about him and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers, for whoever does the will of God is my brother and my sister and my mother." Okay, now I want you to think about this. He's teaching a group of people in the room, and they come in and they say, "Jesus, your family's here." Now listen, here's what he says. "That's not my family. Y'all are my family." That's what he said, really. "That's not my family. That's not my family. Y'all are my family." Why? Why would he say that? I know we try to come with this big theological thing. Well, he's talking about the family of God. Well, what about them? They couldn't be a part of the family of God? Why didn't he go out? Honor your mother. Well, let me show you why. Why were they there? You know why they were there? Look at verse 21, up a few verses. But when his own people, that's his family, heard about this, they went